Let's talk about the brain of your solar power system, the charge controller. It's a fantastic piece of technology, but some really simple, really common mistakes can end up costing you big time.
And look, we're not just talking about your system being a little less efficient here. The stakes are way, way higher. A single wrong move can completely fry your equipment, or worse, create a genuinely dangerous situation.
Yeah, we're talking real money here. Hundreds of dollars, easily, in fried components. That's the kind of financial hit you could take from one of these simple errors. But don't worry, because by the time we're done here, you'll know exactly how to dodge these bullets.
All right, so before we jump into the 5 big mistakes, we've got to lay a little groundwork. We need to talk about the invisible rules of electricity that, honestly, most tutorials just gloss over. These are the fundamentals that explain why things go so wrong.
First up, Ohm's law. It looks basic, right? V equals I times R. But this little formula is everything. It explains why you lose power over a long wire, that's voltage drop, and more importantly, why that wire gets hot. Keep that heat part in mind, because it's going to come back in a big way later.
Next, we have the power equation. P equals V times I. This is how you figure out how much juice your panels are actually producing and what your controller can take. It's the simple math that turns volts and amps into the watts you see advertised everywhere.
And finally, you absolutely have to burn this term into your brain. Open circuit voltage, or VOC. Think of it as the panel's red line. It's the absolute highest voltage a panel can ever produce, and it is a hard, do not exceed limit. Ignoring this is probably the fastest way to turn your controller into a paperweight.
Okay, now that we've got the rules of the road down, let's get into the main event, the 5 most common mistakes that break these rules and cause some serious real-world damage.
First on the list is something that just feels backwards to a lot of people. You're excited, you've got these brand new panels, and what's the first thing you want to do? Hook them up and see that power flowing, right? Well, that impulse is a very common and very dangerous mistake.
Here's the deal. The correct order is always battery first. Always. The controller needs to see the battery before anything else, because that's how it wakes up and figures out if you have a 12-volt, a 24-volt, or even a 28-volt system. Without that reference, it's basically flying blind, and that can cause all sorts of problems, even permanent damage.
And yup, you guessed it. When it's time to take things apart, you just do the exact opposite. Panels get disconnected first, then the battery. It's a simple little dance. Battery on first, battery off last. Following that sequence keeps everything stable and safe.
Our second mistake goes right back to that critical VOC number we just talked about. Every controller has a max voltage it can handle from your panels. And if you go over that limit, even for a millisecond, that's it. Game over. The controller is toast.
Now here's the kicker, the thing that catches so many people out: cold weather. Here's a wild fact about solar panels. Their voltage goes up as the temperature goes down. So that system that's perfectly safe on a warm summer afternoon could be a ticking time bomb on a frosty winter morning. That cold weather voltage spike can push you right over the controller's limit. This is why you must calculate your max VOC for the absolute coldest temperature your location will ever see. Okay, mistake number 3. Think of this like you hired a world-class doctor to take care of your very expensive batteries, but you gave them the wrong medical chart. The controller has to be told exactly what kind of battery it's connected to. See, every battery chemistry, whether it's an old-school flooded lead acid, an AGM, or a modern lithium iron phosphate, needs a very specific charging recipe. The voltages for bulk, absorption, and float stages are all different. If you have a lithium battery, but you tell the controller it's an AGM, you could undercharge it, overcharge it, or worse, you could trigger its internal protection, the BMS, to shut down completely. This simple setting is crucial for battery health and longevity. This next one gets ignored all the time, and it's so important. People will spend a fortune on panels, batteries, and controllers, and then they'll try to save a few bucks on the wiring. Using wires that are too small for the current they need to carry is just asking for trouble.
So what's the big deal? Why does it matter so much if the wire is a little thin?
Well, it all comes back to our old friend Ohm's law. A smaller wire has higher resistance, and in a solar system with a lot of current flowing, that high resistance causes 2 massive problems. First, voltage drop, which means you're literally just wasting power by turning it into heat. And second, that heat itself. It can get hot enough to melt the wire's insulation, and that, my friends, is a serious fire hazard.
And for our last one, we're tackling that classic more is always better myth.
It's tempting to just pile on as many solar panels as you can fit, thinking you'll get more power. But that's not how it works if your controller can't actually handle that fire hose of energy.
Every charge controller has a maximum current rating, a limit on the amps it can handle. If your panels produce more current than that, the controller has to protect itself. So what does it do? It performs something called power clipping. It basically just throws that extra energy away. You paid for those panels, but their power is going nowhere. And if it's a sustained overload, the controller can start to overheat and might even shut down completely to save itself.
Okay, we've gone through a lot of don'ts, so let's flip this around and wrap it up with a simple, actionable do list. This is your safety checklist to make sure your system is solid, safe, and built to last.
Here it is, the 5 commandments. 1. Battery first, panels second. Every time. 2. Do your math for the coldest day of the year, not the sunniest. 3. Match that controller setting to your exact battery type. No guesswork. 4. Use a proper wire gauge chart. Don't eyeball it. Sizer wires for the amps and the distance. And 5. Respect the limits. Don't hook up more panels than your controller can handle. Stick to these 5 rules and you'll avoid 99% of the problems that plague DIY solar systems.
And now I want to turn it over to all of you, especially those with some hands-on experience. Which one of these mistakes have you actually seen out there in the wild? Is it the wrong wiring order? People getting caught by cold weather? Let us know. Sharing those real-world stories is how we all learn to build smarter and safer.